No wood turning in this video, but what's in this box is something I use for my wood turning. So I was offered some sanding pads and discs if I wanted to try them out. The main reason I said yes was so I could show others that they could get into this system at an extremely reasonable price. At least I see it that way. I also said if they were not anything I would use, I will not recommend them. So we haven't tried them yet. I'm going to try them and see how it goes, and I'll give you my honest opinion on it. I'm getting nothing for doing this other than this box of sanding accessories. I'm going to get them out, spread it out so you can see it, because it's really packed tight. So let me get that set up and I will be right back. Alright, this is everything that was in the box. We've got our sanding discs. These are the 3-inch. They go from 80 up to 100 in the normal increments, and then it jumps up to 1,000 to 3,000. This is the mandrel that we use that has the pad on it, and this will come off so you can have a really hard disc to put the sandpaper on for more aggressive sanding. And you could also hook another pad on this if you have a softer one, and I like that because it'll conform to the work really nicely. With the 2-inch, the same thing. That comes off. You can use the hard piece, you can use it padded. Again, I like to get a softer one on there. With this, for some reason they start at 1,500, 2,000, and then 3,000. I know they have a kit that's pretty reasonable with 2 of the 2-inch setups like this, and a really nice variety of sandpaper that goes from 80 through all the grits we normally use with our wood turnings, and then it maybe jumps up to 3,000 as well. This has a 1/4-inch shaft on it, so does that. There's different attachments for how you want to use it. There's an 1/8-inch shaft. I don't know what you would use that for, but then there's one with a, like it would go into a like a screwdriver type attachment. So some drills have it where that will snap in, and you can also use that. What I'm going to do now is move this out of the way. I have a piece of Purple Heart here that I want to sand on. I had a finish on it I didn't really like, so I'm going to resand it and put a finish on it, but I'm not going to show you that. I'll just show you these things in action. I'll come back and then I'll tell you how I think they work, because I don't know yet. We're going to find out. This is the Purple Heart that I'll be testing these sanding discs out on. It's already very smooth, but just so I can test the disc here, the sanding disc, I'm going to start with an 80 grit, and I'll use a few more, but I'll get it up to where I can use a 240, and we'll see how this paper holds up, and then maybe I'll do a 600 and a 3000. But I don't need to show you all of those because this is a good test. And then I'll follow it up with this 1500, because that's the finest that I have in this kit. So let's go ahead and do a little bit of sanding. So I'm going to switch over to 600 grit now. But what I'm really doing here is testing how well this sandpaper holds up. So I'm not really concerned with how smooth it's getting it, but how strong is this sandpaper. I'm changing to the 2-inch pad now, and the coarsest grit I have is the 1500. Based on how the 3-inch paper works, I'm sure that 80 grit on this will be just fine. Alright, I did more sanding than what you saw because I didn't want to make this last too long. But I'll show you the disc. This is the 80 grit, and just to test it, I pushed a little harder than what you need to, because a lot of times the hook and loop fails. If the heavier grits bite into it, it spins, and it's end of being able to use them that way. This held up real well. You can see all the grits stayed on. Let's see what we have here. The 240, same thing. It worked really good. And this is a 600. Held up nicely. Now that's got discoloring on there because it's harder to blow the sawdust off of the fine sandpaper. This is 3000. I tested that. It worked just fine. And this is the 150 grit 2-inch, and it worked pretty good as well. These worked good. I would like to see a softer pad that you can add onto this, and again you can take this off to make it even more aggressive of sanding. So what do I think about them? Well, I think they work just fine, and considering the price at $16.98, it's definitely something that I would consider if I didn't have a system already. So if you're looking into getting into this type of sanding and you're not sure, it might be a good way to start. On Amazon, this is sold by the company, goes by NYXCL. This is a one-day shipping item, at least it got to me that way. So I'll put a link in the description for seeing these, and if you want to look around what else they have, maybe to get the set that has only 2-inch and a lot more variety on the sandpaper. I think that would be something to look at as well. So I hope this was helpful. You got something out of it, and be sure to watch this Friday's wood turning video. It's going to be really cool. So thanks for watching.